let's talk a little bit about Arizona's defensive backs recruiting. You look at this roster, it is loaded at the defensive back position, obviously. You got a lot of really good safeties. You got 4 really good safeties. You also have got Tacario Davis, obviously, as well, who's quite good. And the other spot is, but there's not a lot of depth. What this staff has done is they clearly targeted those defensive backs, and they have done an amazing job in short time overhauling this. You're going to have a flood of talent of defensive backs coming in next year that some of them are going to be ready to be able to contribute immediately. I mean, we'll break them all down here. We talked about Dejon Hinton. Dejon Hinton's going to be able to come in here and compete for playing time immediately at one of the cornerback, not safety positions. He will also, you're also looking at somebody like a Swade Griffin, who you talked about a little bit yesterday. With Swade Griffin, you think that he's going to get a significant jump. Obviously, Duane Akina, lead recruiter, coached his father, Cedric. We've also got Gant as well. Let's talk about those 3 at first.
Yeah, I think it's important to know that this coaching staff recognizes what's going to happen with the secondary. I mean, you're losing Gunner, Dalton, Tacario,
Right.
That is a rebuild. Genesis is going to be there, right? You'd assume he's starting spot. You're losing Stukes. You got to rebuild this secondary. And when you take a look at this class with Griffin and Hinton and Gant, and they just landed Coleman Patman this morning, they are rebuilding this secondary in a big way. Yes, they're going to be young, but these are all athletic guys with good size, and I think that's important.
Yes. Now, one thing that I think we do need to talk a little bit about here, Sheer, you said they're going to lose Dalton Johnson. Why would they lose Dalton Johnson?
Does he still have another year?
Yeah, Dalton Johnson's only going to be a junior, and that's a big one. You got Dalton Johnson back there and Genesis Smith at safety. You feel pretty good about things.
I feel like he's been there forever.
It does feel like he's been here forever, but
he's a guy, though, wouldn't surprise me, and I'm not saying this because I'm predicting it or whatever. He's a redshirt junior, so technically he could declare if he wanted to. But he's also a guy where, like, it's a situation where I look, all his teammates and his buddies are leaving. Maybe he decides to go get paid. And it wouldn't be the worst thing, and it would be understandable, right?
Right.
But I don't know that for sure.
Yeah, we're not advocating that, though.
No. Coleman Patman's another one. By the way,
let's talk Coleman Patman.
It's not a mea culpa, so don't take it this way, okay? I stand by what I said, that Duane Akina is an old white guy. But
you did say that.
His recruiting right now is pretty effing good.
Yeah.
I got to look in the Big 12 recruiter rankings, Mike. And when I go to those, Duane Akina is third in the entire Big 12.
You want to know why Duane Akina? You want to know why this isn't surprising to me at all? Because, dude, there are some old people that act old. He does not act old. He acts like, he is all over the place. He is a hip dude. And let's talk about Coleman Patman for a second. This is a perfect example here about, kind of the 3-star kids. You've got, here are his offer list. Tell me if this is acceptable for you. Arizona, TCU, Oklahoma State, and these were committable offers. He actually visited these places. He visited Oklahoma State. He visited TCU. Yes, that is all. Like I said, I'm thrilled with Duane Akina. That was a big L for you, Sheer.
By the way, you know who Coleman Patman is related to?
Michael Patman.
Tyler Patman, another NFL vet, 5 years in the NFL.
Yep, there you go. And I also like Duane Akina a great deal because of the shots that he's taken at Jed Fish. That is, yes.
Duane is no yes. If you sit and talk to Duane, he will tell you exactly what he thinks.
Yes, exactly. And it's also no coincidence that he came back almost immediately after Jed left. Duane Akina, yes. Jed Fish, but looking at this defensive backs recruiting, though, it's been pretty impressive, this overhaul. And I also kind of like that. How he's been able to go about doing it. He's targeted players that are not OKGs. Now, they're not 5-star kids, but they're clearly good enough if you judge by their offer list. And Akina is also the one Akina is probably the best defensive backs coach in college football history. He just is. Now, I give Shear a little bit of I give Shear a lot of grief, but I'm going to give him a little bit of a pass on Akina because Shear wasn't here when Akina was here and really making his bones. So I don't really beat Shear up too much on this, but this dude is a monster when it comes to defensive backs. You 3 Thorpe Award winners, something like 11 first-round picks. Nobody really has a track record like Duane Akina when it comes to coaching defensive backs. Period.
Yeah, you said it well. I mean, look, it's funny. Like Cedric Griffin, we take a look at him. Like he was awesome, right?
Yeah.
And his in college, and his coach was Duane Akina. So if you're Cedric Griffin's son, why the hell aren't you going to play for the dude that helped make your dad one of the best players in college?
And let's be oh, and by the way, let's talk about this for a second. Nansen before Akina, Dennis Walsh, the great Dennis Walsh. Nansen before Akina, thumbs down. Nansen with Akina, thumbs up. Coincidence? What say you, Shear?
I don't want to rip. I like Nansen, so I don't want to rip Nansen. But yeah, I mean, you got to assume it obviously helped immensely.
Well,
and I think Nansen would say that too because they're friends still.
Right.
It's only a Jed thing. Akina and Nansen are buddies.